Hello, Cougar Nation, and welcome to Guys in the Gymnasium here on Saturday, February 1st. It's a new month and a chance for a new stretch of the season for the Cougars. CUC taking on the visiting Marian University Sabres today here in Concordia, Chicago. And for CUC, they're coming off of one of the best parts of their season as they snap a 13-game losing streak this past Wednesday with a 57-54 win over Dominican, a game where the Cougars found themselves in a familiar spot, trailing late in the fourth quarter, ended up outscoring the Stars 21-11 in that quarter and pulling out the win.
Yeah, and Clea Reed was a big factor for the Cougars. She was really clutch down the stretch. She had 20 points in the game, the most by anyone on either team, and her being able to come through in the big moments is what allowed the Cougars to pull out the win.
Absolutely. In that game, you mentioned the big moments. The Cougars 3 for 3 from 3 in that fourth quarter. The team's shot as a collective shot better in that fourth quarter. Now, for Marian, they're coming off of a tough loss, 85-47 blowout loss to St. Norbert's. Game before that, however, the Sabres picked up their second win of the conference season with a 73-33 rout of Dominican. So this Sabres team, they've had some highs, they've had some lows. They've also had a rough season as well, 2-7 in conference play. But they're looking to get back on track here at Concordia. You look at that St. Norbert's game, it's going to be hard to find positives from a blowout loss like that, but if you got to watch out for a player today, it's going to be the player you've had to watch out for all season with Marian, Lexi Breakbush.
Oh yeah, she has been their lead scorer, their lead three-point shooter, lead free throw. She leads the team in most of the offensive categories. She had a little bit of a slump in the St. Norbert's game. She only shot 5 for 15 from the field, but she still led the team in points. She had 1/4 of the total points. So she's definitely the person that on Marian you got to keep your eye on.
Absolutely. Cougars looking to get their first consecutive win streak of the season here today at home. Marian looking to get back on the right side of the win-loss column. Before we get going here today, Eric, what do you think the Cougars need to do to pick up that second consecutive win?
To me, they got to lock down Breakbush and they got to lock down Chelsea King, who's Marian's other lead scorer. King usually averages like 11 or 12 points a game. She only had 9 in the St. Norbert game. But if Concordia can shut down King and they can shut down Breakbush, that'll force the supporting cast to have to step up, and that's something that I wouldn't be super concerned about.
And for me, I think what the Cougars need to kind of focus on, what they've been focusing on and have been doing a better job at, consistent high percentage shooting. That's something that has been improving as of late. You look at field goal percentage and three-point percentage, those splits have been going up and up over the past month. It didn't translate into wins until this last Wednesday, but that stat has been improving. The Cougars can focus on that consistent shooting today here against Marian. They have a good chance of picking up the win.
Definitely.
And before we get a quick glimpse of our history, we got a game prediction from Charlie T. Cougar. Charlie, you think the Cougars can pick up a big win today? You heard it from the Cougar himself. And before we get going, quick history between these two teams. It's a history that's been dominated by the Cougars. 18 wins for CUC, 9 for Marian, but it's Marian who's in control right now on a one-game win streak. They took control of the series last season here in River Forest with a 75-62 win over the Cougars in January of 2024. The Cougars, they'll look to take control back here today over Marian. As that teams get ready for that game, we'll get ready on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment for Cougar basketball. Cougars taking on the Sabres. Hello, Cougar Nation, and welcome back to Geisman Gymnasium for today's matchup between the Marian University Sabres and the Concordia Chicago Cougars. These two teams getting ready to take the court. National anthem's been played, starters have been read, and we'll run off those starters for you very quickly. For the Sabres, number 2, Chelsea King, number 4, Lila Bartle, number 15, Lexi Breakbush, number 30, Emily Eastham, number 33, Michaela Gable. On the Cougars' end, it's number 4, Michaela Ellis, number 22, Lindley Southern, number 25, Anaya Hinton-Henry, number 31, Abby Kulig, alongside number 24, Kalia Reed, coming off a 20-point performance this last Wednesday against Dominican. Ellis and Bartle for the tip, and Bartle will win it, but Hinton-Henry's there to snag it, and the Cougars will start with possession.
Yeah, Cougars coming off a big win against Dominican, managed to snap their 13-game losing streak, hoping that they can pick another win up here today and go back-to-back.
Working the perimeter, Southern into Kulig. Kulig back over to Hinton-Henry. Baseline drive up and no good. Rolls out. So Marian University does not allow points. And driving straight in as Breakbush, a reverse that is well over the rim.
Little too much heat on that one. I think she was trying to find the backboard. Unfortunately, just lobbed it straight over the net.
Ellis to Reed, over to Hinton-Henry, looking to go into Kulig. Kulig swinging over to Southern, long two. That's over the rim as well, another air ball. It'll be Breakbush bringing the ball down point. Driving baseline, pausing, slinging out to Bartle, and Bartle will be tagged with a travel. That'll be tagged as a turnover, first turnover for either team.
And turnovers are something that Concordia struggled with a little bit throughout the year. Last few games, they've been able to kind of fix that a little bit, improve their turnover to turnovers caused ratio.
Reed driving central, kicking over to Southern, back to Reed.
Coach Martin hoping for a big game out of the starters today.
Reed to the corner to Southern, back to Reed. Back over to Southern, shot clock under 10. And that'll be tagged as a kickball on Ellis as a turnover. That'll be Marian's possession.
So Marian turns it over, and Concordia responds with a turnover of their own.
Coach Martin not understanding the call, not liking the call. Marian will take possession now.
Yeah, I think Martin thought it was a kicked ball on the Marian defender, not Ellis.
Into the paint to King, driving, loses it, tries to sling it out, and that'll be tapped out of bounds by Reed.
Just kind of launched that one in desperation, and it bounced off one of the bleachers and it went straight into one of our bystanders here today.
King slinging over to Breakbush. Breakbush at the top of the key, looking to drive in, gets to the baseline, throws it up, no good off the back of the rim. That'll be slapped out of bounds by Southern, and it'll stay Marian's ball.
Breakbush has been taking up some shots, but they've all just been too strong. They've either been just way over the hoop or really hard off the backboard.
Bartle kicks over to King, swing to Eastham. And that's going to be poked out by Kulig. Bartle with the loose ball. Here's a free throw jumper for Eastham, and Marian scores first. Sabres up 2-0.
A little bit of a chaotic play there, but Eastham was able to get the ball back and shoot was, like you said, a free throw jumper.
Ellis running a 2-on-2 into Hinton-Henry, who loses it, and that's going to be a steal for Michaela Gable. Gable running point now, trying to keep the momentum with her squad. Breakbush driving in on Southern, swinging out to Eastham, and that's going to be a charge tagged on Breakbush to kill the play.
And that's not something you want if you're Marian. Breakbush is your main scoring, so you don't want her to take these early fouls. First one, little over 2 minutes into the game.
Ellis to Southern to Reed. Marian, a high press. Cougar is going to break it. Kulig gets it to Hinton-Henry, and Hinton-Henry draws the foul. Anaya Hinton-Henry will get the Cougars on the board for the first time today with a hoop and harm. She'll head to the line for a chance at a three-point play.
Hinton-Henry is someone that really shined this season. She started off on the bench, but as the season's gone on, she's just gotten better and better, and now she's one of the starting five for Concordia.
Hinton-Henry's first shot, no good. Rebounded by Bartle. So we're tied up 2-2 with 2.5 minutes into the game. King working on Ellis, gets it to Eastham. Eastham now trying to sling over to Gable, and she does. Gable driving in, gets to the baseline, and she'll be fouled. Hard foul by Anaya Hinton-Henry, and that'll send Gable to the line for the first time today.
Marian shooting their first free throws of the night, hoping to reclaim their lead.
Gable's first free throw up and in.
Marian's a pretty good free throw shooting team on the season. Shoot about 66%, so they're pretty good at taking advantage of the charity stripe.
On the season, Gable's 75% shooter, looking to make it 2 for 2 on this trip, and she will. 4-2 lead now for the Sabres. Reed will bring it down from the corner over to Ellis. Ellis dribbling up, gets it to Reed. Reed double team, slinging over to Southern. Southern able to get it to Hinton-Henry and keep it alive. Hinton-Henry to Kulig. Kulig now driving. Kulig with a shot up. No good. Rebounded by Eastham. Now Breakbush pushing the pace. Gets it over to Bartle. Bartle driving baseline. Tries to get it out to Breakbush. Too far to the left. Didn't realize she hadn't gone all the way over there. And that'll be a turnover and a Cougars ball.
Yeah, she was anticipating that Breakbush would be there, but unfortunately for her, Breakbush was not, and the ball just went straight into the CUC bench.
Reed bringing it up for CUC. Sabres dialing back the pressure a bit on that possession. Over to Southern. Southern gets it to Sydney Nimsicant into the game for the first time today. Hinton-Henry over to Reed. Reed thought about going left, instead gets to Nimsicant. Now Nimsicant moves central, get it to Southern. 7 left on the shot clock. Reed looking to get it to somewhere. Nimsicant for 3. And in! Sydney Nimsicant, her first shot and bucket of the day. The Cougars back on top, 5-4.
Nimsicant just got into the game, and she responds by hitting a quick 3 to give her team the lead.
Clea Reed taps that out of bounds, but we talked before the game about that shooting consistency from the Cougars, that high percentage consistently that still isn't where they would want it to be. It's still not great, but it's been improving. That's part of it. That
100%.
Three-point shooting, which was under 20% at the start of January on the season, has been gradually improving. Part of that's consistency from those players like Nimsicant.
Yeah,
now Gable driving in central, kicking out to Breakbush. Under 10 left, Breakbush has space, gets in there, throws it up, and fouled by Reed.
You mentioned the three-point shooting. Yeah, it's something that they struggled with early, but they shot 50% against Dominican in their last game. So if they can keep that trend up here today, which 1 for 1 so far, they'll be good to go.
Breakbush's first free throw up and in.
Breakbush, an 80.9% free throw shooter. She is almost automatic from the charity stripe.
And she'll make it 2 for 2 on that trip. And the Sabres dialing the pressure all the way back now, giving their defense a breath. Nimsicant floating that into Ellis. Ellis slings out to Reed for 3. And that's in! The Cougars now 2 for 2, and it's an 8-6 lead.
Reed hitting the good 3, gives her team the lead. Concordia 2 for 2 from the three-point line.
And that's going to be tagged as a travel on King. A jump stop went too far, and that's another turnover. Cougars take possession, leading for the first time today.
Yeah, I think King wanted to go right, saw the Concordia defense, and then turned to go left, but unfortunately took 1 step too many.
Reed bringing it down court to King, to Hinton-Henry. Nimsicant at the top of the key. Driving in, mid-range jumper, that's well short. Loose ball rebound gets to Hinton-Henry. Now Nimsicant over to Reed. Reed completes 3, mid-range jumper is up. No good. That rebound finally grabbed by Gable.
Nice.
Gable evens it up.
Nice play to just split the Concordia defense on that one and drive to the hoop.
Reed is King, back over to Hinton-Henry, back to Nimsicant, floating that into Ellis in double coverage, able to get tipped back out. Hinton-Henry over to King. King pump fakes the 3. Instead lays it off to Reed, back over to King, flinging that into Ellis. Ellis working in the post, throws it up and in.
Nice play by Ellis to go up and get that slightly high pass and then bring it back down for the off the backboard shot.
Breakbush gets it to King. Chelsea King beyond the arc, driving in on Ellis, gets to the rim, puts it up, no good, rebounded by Ellis. Michaela Ellis working near sideline, gets it to Reed, that'll break the press. Reed laying off for Ellis, long three, short and out of bounds. Not out of bounds, but Marian does take it. Now it's going to be a favorable possession for Marian, pushing the pace. Gable straight in, easy layup, 4-2, and Marian's on top.
Ellis saw she had an opening, just took the deep three. Fortunately for her, didn't have quite enough juice on it. And Marian able to answer and tie this game at 10-10.
And I mean, on the rebound there, you're always going to try and keep the ball in, but Hinton Henry keeping that ball in ultimately made it an easy possession for Marian, kept the Cougars down a man.
Yeah, at some point, you just got to let the ball go out to reassess.
Ellis gets redemption with that three. The Cougars 3 for 3 from deep early.
Ellis a little bit off with that last 3 points. Said, all right, going to find the sweet spot, and she did, and she drained that baby.
Bit of confusion on whether it's a timeout or a sub, but both teams make a pair of substitutions. Bringing down court now for Marian is Breakbush. Gets it over to a walk. Flings that over to Breakbush. Reed's there for the steal. No one in front of her. Kalia Reed with an easy layup, and the Cougars lead by 5.
That was a beautiful read by Reed. She was just able to get her handed and sprint down the court to lay it up.
Breakbush bringing it down court, working on Reed. Moving left, lays that off to Amani. Ninum out to Gable for 3, no good. A walk fighting for the rebound, but Nimsicon will take it. Gets it to Southern, flinging over to Reed.
Nimsicon just kind of ripped that one away from a walk.
Nimsicon over to King. King thought about a corner 3, instead gets it back out to Nimsicon. Reed to Southern. Cougars staying outside the perimeter, and Nimsicon tried to get that to McGregor off the foot of Gable, so that'll be a reset of possession for CUC.
14 seconds left on the shot clock.
King out to Reed. Reed calling for the play. Working on Breakbush, goes right, slashing in, mid-range floater, up, no good, rebounded by a walk.
Good look, unfortunately just didn't have a perfect angle, and the ball just bounced off the side of the rim.
Breakbush driving in. Gable for 3 again, this time no good. And fighting for that rebound, loose ball grabbed by Reed.
Walk's been fighting for those offensive boards, but Concordia's just been able to poke him away or in some cases just rip him away from her.
I mean, both times it's been the Cougars have had a second player there to get the loose ball. Marian doesn't have that extra help. And Nimsicon top of the key, getting over to King. That pass is lost and out of bounds. So that'll be a turnover, Marian's ball. I mean, you want to look at that, how those turnovers can affect the game. The Cougars 7 points off of turnovers so far. They've put up 5 more shot attempts than Marian. 13 shots to Marian's 8.
Yeah, not only have they've been taking 5 more shots, they're hitting them too. They're shooting 46% on the night so far, 75% from 3, which has been huge.
That's answered, bringing it down court. Working on the far side, slinging over to King. 4-3, no good again. Rebounded by Ninum. Now Ninum from the free throw line, no good. Rebounded by Awok, closer to the rim this time. Puts it up and in. Couple second chances for the Sabres, and they get back up on the board.
With that third chance bucket by Awok, stopped a 2-minute scoring drought for Marian.
Ellis working over to King, over to Ellis. Lopez, out Ellis, back to King. King driving baseline. She'll stop and get it back out to Ellis.
Less than a minute to go here in the first quarter.
Nimscon top the key, out to King, over to Ellis. Ellis will drive in, just throw that up. No good. Easy rebound for a walk.
Yep, that rebound just landed straight in the middle of 3 Marian players, and it was a walk that came up with it.
Now King tried to drive. That'll get interrupted, so she'll reset the possession. Ellis pokes that out and gets a steal. Now Michaela Ellis will drive the pace for CUC. She'll try to slow it down. She'll have to slow it down as that's pocketed away by Hansard. Ellis thought about 3, slows it down, tries to get it to someone, gets it to Nimsicon. 17 seconds left. Nimsicon working up at the logo. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Nimsicant looking for somewhere to go. She'll break left, drive in, kick out to Lopez. Lopez will drive in now, kick out to McGregor for 3. And in! Beats the shot clock with a 3, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. CUC leads 18-12 off the back of a 4-for-5 3-point shooting in that first quarter. CUC hot from deep to give them a 6-point lead as we head into the break. We'll be back in just a moment for the second quarter of today's matchup between the Cougars and the Sabres. And welcome back to Guys Men Gymnasium here at the start of the second quarter. Concordia Chicago leads Marian 18-12. And I mean, your key stats from that are going to go down to that 3-point shooting. Marian 0 for 3 in the first quarter. The Cougars 4 for 5. They're shooting better on the game as a whole as well. 46.7% from the field, 36.4% for Marian.
And that last 3 to end the quarter by McGregor is significant because McGregor's not a big shooter player. She's more of a rebounder. So that 3 is big from her.
Breakbush's first shot of the half was just chucked up and airballed, so the Cougars would take the rebound.
Breakbush has taken several shots like that throughout this game where she just chucked them up.
Lopez for 3, and the Cougars stay hot. It's not just going to be a first quarter thing, and CUC is now up by 9.
And what's important about those threes is Concordia's made 5 threes. Each one of them has been by a different player. They're spreading the love.
Now King for 3. That one no good again. Rebounded by Ellis. And Michaela Ellis driving down court, working to the near side. Kicks that over to Lopez. Back over to Reed. Cougars working the perimeter. Nimscant chucking that into Kulig. Mid-range jumper and in. CUC double-digit lead now. It's 23-12.
Kulig got that pass, turned, and just shot it up like it was nothing. Barely even touched the net as it went through.
Gable gets that over to King for 3. That one no good. That was actually Bartol. So the Sabres now 0 for 5 from deep. Ellis gets it over to Reed, over to Nimsicant. Nimsicant gets that into Kulig in the paint. Back out to Lopez for 3 again. That one finally no good, but it's a botched rebound for Ninham. And then a bad pass from Reed will end any chance Cougars had a second chance, but Cougars retain an 11-point lead.
Reed just whipped that one to Kulig, hoping Kulig could put it up and increase the lead, but Kulig was not prepared for that pass that was coming her way.
Breakbush lays that off to King. King driving, still driving, gonna put it up. And that's no good. Rebounded by Ellis. Ellis gets it to Reed. Reed pushing the pace. Marian still scoreless in the second quarter. Lopez over to Reed. Reed flinging that to Nimscant. Over to Ellis. Ellis thought about 3. Now she'll drive in. Floater. No good. That's batted around and rebounded by Marian.
Good play by Breakbush to keep the ball alive.
Ninham drives in and throws up a layoff off the bottom of the backboard, sent straight back down immediately, and the Cougars will take it back. Lopez taking point. Plenty of space all the way up the court. Getting it over to Ellis.
Don't really know what was up with that shot in the Marian end. It was just a bad angle, almost directly under the net. Not the type of shot you want to take.
Ellis, no look pass to Nimscott. Nimscott to Kulig, over to Reed. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Kulig for 3, and that's well short. An Aggie swish to go out of bounds.
Kulig had the look, unfortunately just didn't have anywhere near enough on that one. And this lead will remain 11 points.
Cougar, both teams with a round of substitutions. Marian, 3 minutes into the quarter, yet to score.
And those are the droughts that you don't want your team to go through.
Breakbush will drive central, gets it over to Eastham, back to Breakbush for 3. And finally, the Sabres get a deep ball to fall. Lexi Breakbush goes for 3. And that brings it back to an 8-point game.
Yeah, they were 0 for 5 previously. Finally, Breakbush was able to make that one fall, but this Concordia lead is still 8 points, so Marian needs a few more like that if they want to come back.
Reed, long 2, laser off the front of the rim, no good. Lopez out to Reed, open 3, straight on and in. And again, the Cougars hit a 3, and again, it shows the problem with Marian right now. The perimeter D is sorely lacking.
Yeah, which most of the time, if you're Concordia, isn't that big worry because they're not a great three-point shooting team, but tonight they are electric. That's
another turnover for Marian. Hansard loses that one. No-look pass to the corner to Lopez for 3. That one no good. Hinton Henry fighting for the rebound. Tapped out of bounds by Ninham, and that'll be CUC's ball. But it's that perimeter. The CUC, they've been better tonight at passing. They've been better at creating those open looks. But the problem is Marian, they're not playing up enough on the line. They're hanging back. They're waiting for CUC to drive in. When you look at that last 3 for Reed, you had every player collapsing in on the loose ball down towards the baseline. No one watching the perimeter. No one looking to see if there's any Cougars out there. Reed had plenty of time, plenty of space. And that's something you just can't have on as a defense.
Oh, definitely, especially when your opposing team's shooting 60% from 3.
And King able to save that one, just throws it up, and that's going to be a shot clock violation for CUC. So that's a forced turnover for the Sabres. A very needed forced turnover as they'll take possession back. Breakbush running point.
Shot might have had the distance if it didn't hit the side of the backboard, but unfortunately the angle caused it to go right off.
Eastham driving in, plenty of space, puts it up and in. Eastham's second hit shot of the night brings it back to a one-digit deficit.
The Concordia defense has been really solid tonight. Marian's only shooting 33%. Concordia's done a great job at locking down the paint and making it so that Marian doesn't have very many good opportunities when driving.
Nimsicant to Southern, to Hinton Henry, to Lopez. Works the rainbow now to the baseline. Reed to King. Short shot, no good. King gets her own rebound. Dribble, second chance, and good.
Great play by King to get her own rebound and fight off the Marian players to go back up and make it.
And for the first time tonight, Coach Ward will call the first time a timeout for Marian, and it's a needed timeout. The Sabres trail 28-17. They're down 11. They've only hit 2 shots in the second quarter as they take a break and try to get it together on the court. We'll take a break here at the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back after that short break. It's Marian's ball as they trail by 11, 4:41 left in the first half. Bartle inbound to Breakbush. Breakbush bringing it up court, laying it off to Ninham. Ninham looking for somewhere to go. Moves central, kicks out to Bartle. Now Bartle gets that over to Eastham. Eastham to Bartle for 3. No good off the back of the rim. Rebound Southern.
It was a good look. Unfortunately, just went right off the side, and Southern was able to just grab that rebound and give CUC possession.
Reed swinging to Southern. Southern swinging back over to Hinton Henry. Gets that to King. King thought about 3. Gets it back over to Nimscott. Now to Southern. Southern slings that into King. King spinning post shot and in! Another shot for Grace King. CUC, their largest lead of the day at 13. Breakbush trying to push the pace, goes in, throws it up and in.
It's one of the few Breakbush just tosses she's had that have actually managed to go in. Most of them have just racketed off the backboard.
King, top of the key, kicks that over to Nimsicant. Nimsicant back to Southern, back over to Hinton Henry. Hinton Henry will get that to King. King again, pump fake three. Now Hinton Henry working on Ninham. Show drive towards the baseline. Kicks that out to King. King back to Hinton Henry. Hinton Henry. Too much of a back step. She'll get tagged with a travel. So a turnover for CUC. Just kind of caught in a lull at the end of that possession. That'll be give the ball back to the Sabres.
Yeah,
Riley Woodson subbed into the game for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I think Hinton Henry saw the shot clock was at 5, and she was just, second she got that pass, she was going to go. And unfortunately for her, took too quick a step with the ball.
Woodson inbounds to Breakbush, and Breakbush will run point once again. Working on Reed. Gets it over to Ninham. Ninham goes for Woodson in the paint. Woodson puts it up and in. Woodson, just a couple seconds in the game, already gets her first bucket of the day, and that does bring it back to a 9-point game.
Yep, Marian finally managing to cut it back to the single digits, hoping that they can continue to claw back.
King floats that into Ellis. Ellis back to King. King for 3. And that's no good. Easy rebound for Ninham. She'll bring it down to the near sideline. Gets that to Eastham. Eastham has space. Doesn't take it. Instead goes to Breakbush. Breakbush over to Ninham. And Ninham can't receive it. Wasn't looking. And so lack of awareness will cost Marian their wasted possession. CUC will take ball back.
Ninham just got her head around in time, but unfortunately couldn't get her hands all the way up to catch it, and it just bounced off into the fans that are holding signs, I believe.
Clear Reed working central. Bringing down to the near sideline. Looking for somewhere to go. Floats it into Ellis. Ellis working on King. Kicks that out to Kulig. Kulig will drive out to Hinton Henry. Hinton Henry will drive. She'll keep it. She'll throw it up, and she'll draw the foul. That'll send Hinton Henry to the line for the second time today. Had an and one free throw shot earlier, missed it. Has a chance to get some redemption with this trip.
Not a whole lot of fouls by either team. That's been a pretty clean game. Marian's got 3 and CUC's got 2.
Hinton Henry's shot up, and you don't want to say it, but if you're looking at Marian, you might want to see them. You might want to see a couple more fouls, because Marian's problem right now isn't that the Cougars are creating a lot of good shots, but Marian's not being tough enough. They're not playing physical enough. They're not playing close enough. CUC's getting too many easy shot opportunities. As Breakbush for 3 hits that one and responds. Back to an 8-point game, but you start playing closer, you start playing physical, you start pressing up on that perimeter more, start forcing more drives. Sure, you might get a couple more fouls, but you're not going to give up those easy deep shots.
And to further with you on that, there's been several times when Marian's had opportunities for offensive rebounds, and Concordia's just out-muscled them to get them.
Now Hinton Henry for 3. Back of the rim, no good. Rebounded by King. Chelsea King brings that up court. Has some space, loses her own dribble, uncontested, able to keep it alive. That's tapped out of bounds off Reed. CUC taking advantage of a mistake from Chelsea King to force some chaos. And Marian's going to have to restart their possession with 21 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah, Concordia's been very aggressive tonight, just going for balls, going for rebounds, and it's allowed them to pull out an 8-point lead.
Breakbush, 2. Gable for 3. Gable no good. That's out of bounds off of Nimsicant. Gable forces a tough play, so that'll be Marian's ball still.
That's kind of another play where Breakbush was coming back with the ball that was about to go out of bounds, but Nimsicant just kind of ripped it away from her. Luckily for Marian, Nimsicant went out of bounds as she was doing so.
I see Breakbush looking for an option, gets that to Gable. Gable driving baseline. And she draws a foul. Sydney Nimsicant gets tagged for a hold, so that'll be on the floor. Reset of the shot clock, reset of possession for Marian once again. Sabres need to close out this half strong. And King, catch and shoot three, wide of the rim, rebounded by Gable. Gable flings back in for King. King double teamed and blocked by Kulig. Abby Kulig doesn't even let her get up with it, and that'll be out of bounds off of Kulig, and that'll force a reset of possession again.
Great block by Kulig. She just swatted it down before that ball was even out of the hands of King.
Breakbush gets that to Eastham. Eastham looking for somewhere to go. Gets it to Woodson in the paint. That's going to be a jump ball. That's going to be Cougars' possession.
And we are seeing a very aggressive Cougars team tonight, and I am liking it. This is what they need. They got an 8-point lead. They are fighting each and every possession.
Cougars playing physical, but shots aren't falling. 3 minutes without a field goal for CUC, and they're lucky that Marian hasn't been able to get as many shots off as they have. Reed to Kulig. Kulig looking for somewhere, instead goes back to Reed. Reed driving, slashing, puts it up. No good, but draws the foul on the follow-through.
Good play by Reed to just go in and take a good shot and got fouled on it. So even though it didn't go in, she's got 2 shots from the charity stripe.
Reed's first free throw up, no good off the back of the rim.
A little too strong on that one as Coach Ward for Marian argues the foul call.
Reed trying to salvage this trip, and she will. Back to a 9-point game. Awok inbounds to Breakbush. Under a minute to go in the first half. CUC leads by 9. And Breakbush, she'll drive, she'll slash in to the baseline, throws it up, and draws a foul.
Breakbush has almost half of the Marian points. She's got 10 of the 24. Now she's heading to the line to try to make it 12 out of 26.
And most of the time, I don't like watching basketball that's a lot of drive, hope for a foul. At this point, it's what's working for Marian, though. It's the only thing they can get to work right now. Hanging back, trying to create easy opportunities hasn't been working yet because that driving threat isn't there. If you can drive in, if you can force that threat to CUC that, yeah, we'll drive in, you might have to foul us, that should open up the perimeter a bit more. Breakbush hits the first free throw, back to an 8-point game, looking to make it a 7-pointer, and she will. Lexi Breakbush still perfect on the day from the free throw line.
And Marian remains perfect from the free throw line, 6 for 6 so far tonight.
And Ellis, catch and shoot three, no good. It's a long rebound for Hannah Lopez. Takes that back out to Kulig, 37 seconds left in the half. Cougars will slow this possession down, content to take some time. Ellis driving, out to Lopez. Lopez brings it central, tries to fling it over to Reed, does so. Now Reed working central. Reed spinning in, floater, well short of the rim. Ellis gonna have to throw it up, and she will not. Kulig's long three is late. That's a shot clock violation for CUC, so Marian will take possession down 7 with 18 and a half seconds left in the half.
Good play by Marian down there in the paint to force Concordia not take very many good shots. And then in the end, it was a shot clock violation as they get the ball back.
Breakbush gets it to Gable. Under 10 left in the half. King's going to drive. King going baseline, looking for somewhere to go. Just throws it up. No good. Rebounded by McGregor. And that's how the half will end. CUC will head into the locker room off a strong first half. They lead 33-26 over Marian. The Sabres struggling for the majority of that second quarter, turning it on a bit late. And they'll head into the locker room, try and figure out how they can get back into this match. The Cougars, they'll try to figure out how they can stay on top in the second half, keep that lead, and finish with a win today. We'll take a break here at the Cougar Sports Network, and we'll be back after halftime for more Cougar basketball. What's up, Cougar Nation? I'm Jonathan Shear of the Cougar Sports Network down here with Eric and Terry, coming off of a first half that's resulted in a 7-point lead for the Cougars. CUC leads 33-26 over Marian University after a strong first half and an especially strong first quarter. The shooting split very, very strong for CUC, less so for Marian.
Yeah.
The thing we kind of want to focus on most is where the game could go from here based off the last 5 minutes of that second quarter. Firstly, with Marian, they struggled in that first quarter.
100%.
The shooting percentage was okay,
Yeah.
but it was the amount of shots they were putting up that was a problem.
Oh, yeah, they were getting almost no shots up in the first quarter. The Concordia defense was just locking them down and making that. What shots they did get up were either rushed or bad angles or bad shots, and that's what allowed Concordia to jump out to a 6-point lead at the first quarter break.
And what you notice more in that last 5 minutes, a lot more of not forcing shots, but forcing shot creation.
Yes.
They're putting up more, they were getting more opportunities. The shooting percentage technically went down in the second half, but they got more buckets. They got more points on the board. Either way, hit a couple of threes on CUC's end. They were putting up a lot of shots.
Yes.
And the start of the second quarter was great.
Yeah.
There were 2 separate scoring droughts in that second quarter.
Yeah, that's not great if you're Concordia. You had an early 2-minute scoring drought, but then you end the half. Last 4 minutes, you didn't hit a single shot. You only had 3 free throws as your points. You can't let that, you can't keep that up if you want to maintain your lead if you're Concordia.
And that's one of those concerns for this CUC team. They've had leads before, they've lost those because of cold stretches, because they lose that consistency they have in a game early on. That's kind of what they got to focus on going in against Marian right now. Keep that consistency in the second half. Figure out a way to get out of whatever funk you were in at the end of the quarter and go in stronger in the second half. For Marian, you look more defensively, what do they need to do to stop CUC if CUC gets back on offensively? And we kind of talked about it on the broadcast, it's the perimeter D.
Oh, 100%. They are just letting Concordia take as many threes as they want, it feels like, because they have been centering their defense on the lane, and they, as a result, they've been leaving people wide open to, especially in the first quarter, just shoot up threes that, for most of the time, were going in.
And something that actually stopped falling in that last 5 minutes of the half for the Cougars, it was those threes.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that you kind of watch, where the Cougars were excelling early on, where they started struggling late on. But as we get ready to go here in the second half, Eric, what do you think the Cougars have got to do to pull out this win?
To me, it's going to come down to tightening down their defense. They did a really good job in the first quarter at holding Marian to, again, bad shots or rush shots. They got to turn that back on in this second half. They got lax in the second quarter, and that's what allowed Marian to get back in this. They need to go back to playing that lockdown defense if they want to maintain their lead.
And for me, it's not as much lockdown for me as it is creating a chaotic sort of basketball. That's where they were best against Marian, when Marian couldn't hold on to the ball, weren't getting enough shot opportunities up. That allows CUC to keep a lead and to stay in control of this game. We'll see how CUC does do with controlling that game in this second half in just a couple minutes. We get ready to go here on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll take a short break. Cougars lead 33-26, headed into the second half. And welcome back to you guys on today's game here on the Cougar Sports Network for the second half of today's matchup between the Marian and Concordia Chicago women's basketball teams. CUC leads 33-26 coming into the second half. Marian will start with possession as they look to get back into this match, close down that deficit.
Yeah, they're hoping that this third and fourth quarter go a lot like the end of the second quarter, where they will cut the lead from 13-7.
King thought about three. She'll drive in, kicks out to Eastham. Eastham looking to go, kicks out to Bartle. Bartle driving, kicks out to Gable. Gable now driving in. Gable will keep it. Stop and up. Great footwork and great hesitation from Gable to get Marian up on the board early.
Yeah, she paused to let Ellis just jump right past her, and then she laid that one in nice and easy off the backboard.
Ellis, mid-range, step back, and in. Michaela Ellis gets a two of her own to bring it back to a 7-point gap.
Good answer by Ellis. Concordia, a bit of a scoring slump at the end of the second quarter. Managed to keep score here.
King, bring down baseline, kicks out to Gable. Gable thought about driving. She'll drive left. Tries to kick that over to Breakbush, and that's going to be out of bounds off of the Cougars.
A little bit of disruptive defense there by the Cougars, forcing a now inbounds pass with 14 seconds left on the shot clock.
That's into Breakbush. Breakbush double team, gets it to Gable. Gable driving in, steps left, and another shot up for Michaela. Gable now into double digits today. That's her 10th point of the night.
That was a nice shot by Gable. Just faked right, then went left and bounced it right off the backboard and in.
Ellis working on Bartle. Set back again, and that one off the back of the rim, no good. Rebounded by Bartle.
Good look, unfortunately just didn't fall for Ellis.
Bartle to King. King driving in, skips, no good. Up off the bottom of the rim. Rebounded by Kulig. Now Reed working the far sideline. Tries to get a nice dribble back to Ellis, and it's a poor pass. Ellis lags too far behind, so they'll have to reset the possession. Yeah. Ellis working on King. Ellis moving in. Reed, corner three. That's long off the back of the rim, rebounded by Gable. Gable pushing the pace. Gable moving central. Gets that to Eastham. Eastham kicks out to Breakbush for three. No good off the front of the rim, rebounded by Kulig. Now Kulig will try and bring the pace for CUC. She'll slow it down on the corner, gets it to Hinton Henry. Reed into Southern. Southern with some space, kicks back out to Hinton Henry. Hinton Henry over to Ellis, over to Reed.
Good ball movement by Concordia here to start the third quarter.
Ellis calls for a man, gets that into Kulig. Kulig back to Ellis for three. And that is very short and very left. Ellis missing the rim entirely. Now it's a good opportunity to do. She got Eastham to go under on the screen, but couldn't hit the shot. Now Breakbush will bring it down court for the Sabres.
Yeah, Sabres here have an opportunity to cut this to a one-possession game.
Southern almost gets that one. Bartle driving in. Little bit of space, and she's fouled by Ellis. Not going to allow that shot to go up easily, so that'll send Bartle to the line for the first time today.
Marian a perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line so far, hoping to increase that perfection here.
Bartle looking to get her first points of the day. And she will not. First shot is short.
And that breaks the perfect Marian free throw line record, but hoping she can hit the second one here to take advantage of it.
And the second shot is up. That one's no good as well. Rebounded by Southern, so a fruitless trip to the line for Lila Bartle. She remains scoreless on the day. So Reed will bring down court on the near side for CUC, working on Breakbush. Gets it to Southern in the corner. Southern slings that over to Kulig, into the paint to Ellis, who puts it up short, rebounded by King.
Some tight defense, and Ellis just got the shot up. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get a good shot up.
Breakbush stops at the key. Back to King for three. No good again. Rebounded by Eastham, and Eastham is fouled. That's King's 9th shot attempt of the day, and she is still scoreless. Chelsea King is struggling.
Yeah, that's really uncharacteristic for her. She usually averages 11 points a game, so to have 0 points on 0 for 9 shooting 3 minutes into the third quarter is very uncharacteristic of her.
First shot from Emily Eastham is up and in. If it makes the second, that would bring it back to a one-possession game. Eastham's second free throw is up, no good, but it's rebounded by the Sabres. Eastham has it on the baseline, kicks out to Breakbush. Breakbush to King for 3. And that one no good again, rebounded. Second chance shot up and in for Michaela Gable.
Beautiful play there by Marian to take advantage of the third chance shot and cut this to a 2-point game.
Michaela Ellis over to Lindley Southern. Nimskont, top of the key, working on Gable, gets it back over to Ellis. Ellis into Kulig in the paint. Kulig back out to Ellis. Ellis will drive, go into the baseline, puts it up and in easily, back to a 4-point gap.
Ellis, good drive there, make it a 2-possession game now, but Concordia's got to be more aggressive here in this third quarter.
King to Bartle. Bartle moving in, back out to King. King for 3 again. That one no good again, and that's going to be a jump ball. That's going to be Concordia's possession.
Concordia was really good about being aggressive and fighting for every ball in the first half there, but they kind of slowed down a little bit off that at the start of this third quarter, it felt like.
Now you're going to see Josh Ward sub Chelsea King off. Chelsea King 0 for 11 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. An uncharacteristically bad day for the guard, and her coach is going to give her a breather. Amani Ninham back into the game, replacing her.
Yeah, Ward's hoping that maybe King just sitting on the bench will allow her to get her head back in the game.
Nimsikant straightaway 3, airballed wide right. Grace King's going to save the camera, and that'll be Marian's possession once again. Bartle will inbound to Breakbush. Breakbush, plenty of space as she brings this down court.
Marian once again hoping to cut this game back to a 1-possession game.
Breakbush hands that off to Gable, and that's going to be out of bounds off of Reed.
Went right off the side of Reed's foot and just rolled out of bounds. So now Marian going back to work here with 17 left on the shot clock.
Breakbush working on Reed, gets it over to Bartle. Bartle driving central, kicks out to Ninham. Ninham driving, kicks out to Breakbush. Breakbush driving baseline, gets that under to Gable. Gable can't reel it in, and King picks up the loose ball. Concordia will slow this possession down to start. Kalia Reed driving, gets to the baseline, throws it up and in.
Ooh, beautiful drive and shot by Reed. That was perfect off the glass.
Breakbush pushing the pace, driving in, throws it up and draws the foul.
Breakbush driving now. These free throws will give Marian a chance to answer that Reed layup.
Ellis's second foul of the day for the Cougars. Breakbush been perfect from the line today. She'll stay perfect from the line with that one. Looking to make it 6 for 6 with this next shot. And she will not. McGregor's there to pick it up for CUC, and the Cougars take possession back with a 5-point lead.
Cougars hoping to stretch this lead back out to the 7 it was at half, or maybe get it back up to 8 with the 3, but just hoping to score in general on this possession.
Nemsikant, tight D from Gable, able to escape and get it to Kalia Reed.
That was very good
10
defense.
seconds left on the shot clock. Kalia Reed moving left, gets it to Grace King for 3. And that is no good, rebounded by Gable. Gable going to get it to Bartle. Sabres pushing the pace. That's going to try to get that to Breakbush. Still a loose ball on the ground, and that's going to be a jump ball. This time it goes Marian's way. Butterfingers all over on the court on that play.
Yeah, that ball all of a sudden turned into a football in the rain. It was just bouncing everywhere until ended up being a jump ball with possession going to Marian. Trying to figure something out, it looks like.
Breakbush to inbound for Marian. Gets it over to Gable in the corner. Gable driving, baseline. And the official thought about it for a second. They'll say Gable stepped out of bounds.
And that turnover is going to give Concordia a chance to increase their lead.
Anna Lopez working the near sideline. Gets it to McGregor. McGregor over to Nimsikant. Back to McGregor. Back over to Lopez. Cougars can't find a way in yet. Now King will send that into McGregor. McGregor back out to Reed. Reed calls for the screen. Cuts right, has some space, throws it up, no good. And that's slapped out of bounds by King. That's Marian's ball.
Good drive by Reed. Unfortunately, she just put a little bit too much mustard on it. Overshot the target.
Lexi Breakbush running point, going to work on Clea Reed, gets it to Awok. Awok back over to Breakbush, catch and shoot three. No good, rattles in and out. And they'll tag Gable with a foul on the rebound.
That'll be her second foul of the night, only Marian's 5th in the game.
Lopez over to King, over to Nimsicant. Nimsicant back to King, back to Lopez, back to King. King looking for an entry pass, instead she'll go to Kalia Reed. Back to King. Now she'll lob it in for McGregor, and that's slapped away by Breakbush. Cougars can't find a way in that possession. Gable driving straight back in. She'll send that back out to Breakbush. Breakbush driving now, stepping in, putting it up, and she is fouled. Tripped up by Sydney Nimsicant. That's going to be Nimsicant's 3rd foul of the day.
She's first player tonight on either team to go into the foul trouble category. As Breakbush hoping to knock down 2 more free throws.
Breakbush's first free throw is up and in, makes her 6 for 7 on the day. She hits this next shot. She matches her total from the Sabres' last outing against St. Norbert's, and she does 15 on the day for Lexi Breakbush. Still leads both teams in scoring.
Yep, she's got over 1/3 of her team's points, and she is almost single-handedly, along with Michaela Gable, keeping Marian in this one.
There's another round of substitutions for the Sabres. Hannah Lopez running court for the Cougars. Swings over to Grace King. Swing down to Emma Nickerson. Reed to Lopez. Back to Nickerson. Thought about 3. Reed. Nickerson looking to get it in. Reed driving. Baseline out to Ellis. Ellis tagged with a travel. One too many steps back. And Marian again forcing a Cougar turnover with that defense.
Yeah, we said at halftime that Marian really had to step up their perimeter defense, and boy, have they. Concordia hasn't scored in about 2.5 minutes here.
Breakbush running point, double teamed, looking for an out. And she forces a timeout from Josh Ward. Yeah, CUC, 2.5 minute scoring drought. Marian's on a 4-minute, 14-second field goal drought. Both teams struggling on the offensive side of the court for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it has been pretty. It's been turnovers and fouls and takeaways, and just neither team really able to do anything on offense in the last stretch here.
One big point of despair today is the bench points for both teams. Marian has 4. 1 shot from Riley Woodson, 1 shot from Nidang Awok. For the Cougars, they've got 15 coming from a couple different sources. Sydney Nimscont, Grace King, Hannah Lopez, Allie McGregor. The difference, though, is Marian is getting a lot of production out of their stars. Lexi Breakbush, again, a 15-point game. Michaela Gable having a very nice game, 5 for 8 from the field. Her only misses are from 3.
Yeah, we said earlier King for Marian hasn't been able to do a whole lot. She was 0 for 11. So Gable has really stepped up and taken the role that usually King has, and is helping score points alongside Breakbush.
It's Eastham to inbound now for the Sabres. Gets it into Breakbush. Over to Woodson. Gets that down to Ninham. Back into Woodson in the paint. Woodson, reverse up and under, no good. Second chance, no good. Gets her own rebound, and she's fouled on the floor. So that'll be inbounded. Foul tagged on Grace King.
That'll be King's first of the night.
And that does send Marian into the bonus. So Riley Woodson will shoot free throws.
She got 2 points so far tonight on 1 for 3 shooting.
Woodson's first free throw up and in.
Nice shot. Marian's been really good from the line tonight, 11 for 15 now from the charity stripe.
Riley Woodson on the season is a 30% free throw shooter. 1 for 2 is a win for Woodson.
Yeah.
Back down to a 2-point gap.
Concordia needs points here to cut off this almost 3-minute scoring drought they got going.
Nickerson trying to find a way to go, gets it to King, kicks it to Lopez. Lopez tagged with a travel. A little skip step before she went into her dribble. Another turnover for the Cougars, and Marian will take possession back, trailing by 2.
And at this point in the game, you can't have this if you're Concordia. You can't give Marian just free opportunities to get the ball back.
And that entrance pass to Woodson intercepted by Ellis, so that's a turnover for the Sabres. Nickerson thought about 3, so kick it back out to Lopez. Swinging to Reed. Reed now moving central, gets it to Ellis. Ellis, step back, mid-range jumper, no good. Rebounded by Woodson.
Just not enough on that shot from Ellis, and then King went for the rebound, but unfortunately Woodson just managed to pull it away from her.
Eastham to Breakbush. Breakbush driving baseline. Gets it to Gable. Gable trying to work past Ellis and blocked. Woodson's there for the rebound and the second chance bucket.
Nice play by Woodson. She just managed to get that rebound and right away turn around and put that one back up and tie this game.
This game evened up for the first time since early in the first quarter. Nickerson loses her dribble, has to reset. Gets over to King. Ellis now calls for Lopez. Lopez moving left, back to Ellis. Ellis working on Eastham. Still working, spinning, fade away. No good, rebounded by Gable. Just under 40 seconds left in the quarter. Gable running point. Gable, she'll take it all the way down. That's kicked out of bounds by Kalia Reed.
About a 10-second disparity between shot and game clock. So at the end of this, Concordia will probably be able to take the last shot if they choose to, but man, 3 turnovers in the last 4.5 minutes. That is not what you want if you're Concordia.
Inbounded to Chelsea King. Chelsea King driving, baseline. Puts it up, and she is fouled by Hinton Henry. Chelsea King will head to the line with a chance to give Marian the lead. Marian, last time that the Sabres had the lead was at 6-5. 6 minutes left in the first quarter. And Chelsea King is going to give it back to them with 30 seconds left in the third.
So some 34 points later, Marian got the lead back once again.
Second shot up and no good, but Chelsea King is on the stat sheet with 1 point now.
And hey, sometimes all you need is 1 point to get your head back on right and make the shot start falling.
Lopez swinging over to Reed. 15 seconds left. Reed's going to hold off for one more play. Slowly moving up on Breakbush. She'll cut left. Take the screen from King. Still moving left. Gets it to Hinton Henry. Hinton Henry, pump fake 3, out to King. Long 3. No good off the back of the rim, and that's how the quarter will end. We started this quarter with the Cougars leading by 7. It's now the Sabres on top, 40-39, and CUC struggles. A 5-minute, 10-second scoring drought to close the quarter, only 6 points on the quarter. They'll try and get things figured out before this fourth quarter. We'll be back in just a moment here on the Cougar Sports Network. And welcome back to Geisman Gymnasium here on the Cougar Sports Network. As we get ready for the last quarter of this game, it's the Marian University Sabres who lead 40-39 over the Cougars. CUC struggling in the back half of that quarter, failing to score for the final 5 minutes and 10 seconds. That's a scoring drought that is still ongoing.
Yeah, it was a really rough end to the first or to the third quarter for Concordia. They're hoping that they can get some points on the board quickly to try to fix that and give themselves the lead back. Yeah.
Clear read, swing, Kulig. Back down to Lopez. Lopez back over to Kulig. Entrance pass to Hinton. Henry, that pass broken up and picked off by Chelsea King. She'll push the pace now for Marian. She'll take it in herself. Looking for somewhere to get that out to. Gets it out to Eastham. Eastham moving left over to Bartle. Bartle back to Eastham. Mid-range jumper. That's long. Gable grabs it, and that is a jump ball. That's going the way of the Sabres.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ask Eastham, she'll say that wasn't actually a shot. It was more of a arcing long pass, but ended in a jump ball that did end up favoring Marian, so they get the ball back, hoping to increase their lead.
Answered inbounds. Eastham driving, kicks out to Gable. Gable can't reel it in. Gable still can't reel it in. Finally does. Over to Eastham. Eastham driving baseline, puts it up. No good. Gets her own rebound. Blocked. And that time, that's another jump ball. Josh Ward's not happy with how fast the official called it. Gable won it right after the whistle was blown. That's going to be a Cougar possession.
Yeah, Ward definitely thinks the ref should have let that one play out a little bit longer. Oh, the shot clock was draining down, so it might not have made much of a difference.
Southern tries to sling that into Kulig. King blocks it with her foot, so that'll be have to be an inbounds for the Cougars. Southern gets it to Ellis. Ellis right up in the paint, slings out to Kulig. Kulig driving, stops, looking for a pass, gets it out to Nimskant, swings the read.
And it's now been over 6 minutes since the Cougars have last scored any points.
Lindley Reed to Kalia Reed, back to Lindley Southern. Now Reed, 5 seconds left. She'll drive in. She'll just throw that up and get the foul.
With these ensuing layups, Reed hoping that she can break the drought for Concordia and tie this game or give them the lead.
That scoring drought over 6 minutes now for the Cougs. As Kalia Reed heads to the line.
1 for 2 from the line so far tonight, hoping to make it 3 for 4.
First free throw is up and no good, off the back of the rim. So Reed will try and salvage this trip, tie it up at 40. Couple dribbles, second shot. That one's good. That does break the Cougars' scoring drought. CUC back evened at 40. Taj Hansard running point.
Marian hoping to give themselves back the lead.
Calls for Gable. Hansard gets it to Gable. Gable, she'll drive into the baseline, has some space, puts it up and in. Great response from Michaela Gable, and it's back to a 2-point lead for Marian.
Good, just driving the layup by Gable to give her team the lead. She just read the CUC defense perfectly there.
Southern swings the Nimsicant to Kulig to Reed. Perfect rainbow around the arc. Reed will start it back the other way. Kulig to Southern to Nimsicant. Nimsicant for 3. And in! A high arcer to splash in and give the Cougs a lead back. It's 43-42 CUC.
That was a beautiful 3 by Nimsicant. Hey, Cougars back on top.
Hansard swings over to Bartle. Down to Eastham. Eastham gets it to King. King driving, triple coverage, looking for an out. Gets it out to Gable. Gable now moving in. Gets it over to Eastham. Eastham moving in. Kicks out to King. 4-3. No good again. And that's out of bounds off of the Cougars. And that's going to be overruled by the far side official. Not much opposition from Marian.
I would say when the near side judge called it on Concordia, Southern was odd. It was quickly arguing with that one.
Reed over to Ellis, over to Nimsicont. Nimsicont slings that into Kulig. Kulig starts working up to the rim herself, puts it up, and no good. Misses the rim entirely, and that's going to be a follow-through rebound foul on Kalia Reed.
Reed went up for that, but just think might have misjudged the distance a little bit there, and that a foul for her. First foul of the night.
Awook will inbound. She'll get that into Hansard. Marian trailing by 1, 7 minutes to go. Hansard swings that to Awook. Awook to Gable. Gable moving in, out to Hansard. Hansard now moving left, looking for an option. Lays off to Gable. Gable pressured by Reed, loses her dribble for a minute. Starts driving back in, double coverage, gets it out to Awook. Awook moving in now. Awook, space, puts up the shot, and one for Nidang Awook.
Great play by Awook to just get the ball off with time running out on the shot clock and just go up and make the shot and get the and one.
And a bit of a desperation foul for Abby Kulig. She got beat, just tried to throw up a chance at stopping that shot. Instead gives Awook a chance at a three-point play, which she converts. And it's back to a 2-point lead for Marian.
And Corey now coming back down the court, trying to get another good shot, maybe a good three here by Nimsicon or someone to tie this game or give themselves the lead back.
Kulig swings over to Nimsicon. Nimsicon looking for somewhere to go, gets it to Kalia Reed. Kalia Reed back over to Southern. Southern moving in, back to Reed. Reed getting edged off, swings to Southern. Southern inbounds to Ellis, back to Southern. 2 seconds left. Southern has to throw it up. She's fouled, and she's going to get an and one. Lindley Southern in crunch time, going to have a chance to respond with a three-point play of her own. That foul tagged on Chelsea King.
Great play by Southern with time almost at 0 on the shot clock to just get it up, get the bucket, and the and one.
Southern's free throw is good, so she responds with a three-point play. CUC's back on top, 46-45.
Marian's got a three-point play. Concordia answers with one of their own.
Long two for Chelsea King, and she finally hits a bucket. 0 for 12 to start the night. Makes it 1 for 13. Marian back on top, 47-46.
Well, if you ever want a shot to fall, now's the time.
Abby Kulig, mid-range jumper, bangs it in. 48-47 Cougars. That's going to prompt a timeout for the Cougars. Lauren Martin calls time, and Josh Ward is livid about something.
I think to Ward, I think he thought that Martin called the timeout after the ball was already in bounds and Marian was going up the court. I think that's what he was upset about. Or at least that's what it looked like to me for the sec. He was talking very loudly with the ref. But nevertheless, CUC's got a 1-point lead coming out of this timeout.
You know, Cougars really struggling to score early on in this quarter. You can see them kind of go for Marian. They both kind of turned it on in the last minute.
Yeah, this was a bit of a rough start for the Cougs. Didn't score for a minute and a half, but then once they got that first free throw to fall, they've been turning it back on. Already have more points in this quarter than they did in the third.
But Marian's going to have a pair of fresh legs out on the court, and it's the fresh legs of their best player, Lexi Breakbush. They've been on the bench for the first 4 minutes of the quarter. She's back into the game. Minham driving in and puts it up 4-2. So Marian responds. They're back on top, 49-48.
Now CUC once again has got to come down and try to answer because Marian's hitting their shots. CUC's got to keep hitting theirs.
Then Scott swings to Ellis, swings to Southern. Southern back to Ellis. Back over to Reed. Cougars struggling to find a way past the arc. Southern now swings to Ellis. Ellis will work her way in. Driving towards the baseline, just flings it out to Reed. Now Reed will slash in. Step back, fadeaway two, and she's going to draw the and one.
What a play by Kalia Reed. That was incredible. Wow. Wow.
My bad.
Wow. Just As Josh Ward's arguing that call, he's saying Reed kicked her leg out.
I think Josh Ward does have a valid argument with that one. Kalia Reed was baiting for the foul with that shot, but it works out for the Cougars. Kalia Reed converts it to a three-point play, makes it 51-49 CUC.
Both teams are 3 of their last 3 from the field. They have both turned it on as we get into crunch time.
Ninum moving in, mid-range jumper. She'll miss that. That's a long, loose ball. It's grabbed by McGregor.
Now Concordia going down. Less than 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're trying to increase their lead to a 2-possession game.
Friendly Southern swings to Ellis, swings to Nimsicon. Kalia Reed sends that back to Southern. Southern will move in, kick back out to Reed. Reed looking for Ellis. Ellis will now drive in to the baseline, flings that over to Southern, back to Nimsicon for 3. Bangs it in! And the Cougars on a 3-point run. Back up to a 5-point lead, 54-49 CUC. Marian gonna have to find a way to respond, and quickly Chelsea King driving in, gets it to a Wook, throws it up, no good. And that's gonna be a foul on a Wook. CUC, everything falling their way right now. Michaela Ellis will inbound for the Cougars.
Marian coach Josh Ward just kind of shaking his head in disbelief as the Cougars get the ball back, looking to increase this 5-point lead as we are now under 4 minutes to go here in the fourth.
Cleared, working it down court, sends it over to Ellis, back over to Southern. Back to Reed, back to Nimscont, back to Ellis. Reed gonna spot up for a 3, and she'll hit that! The Cougars are hot!
Another 3 for CUC. They're shooting them like they did in the first quarter. And what a time when they needed them most.
Bartle out to Ninum. She'll try and respond, and that's gonna be way too long. An air ball for Amani Ninum. CUC a chance to bring it back to a 10-point lead.
That 3 was too long. Just went straight into the hands of Allison McGregor.
Friendly Southern. She'll drive it in. She'll put up a shot. No good. And McGregor will get the rebound.
And the foul.
And they're going to call a foul on a Wook. And that's going to send the Cougars into the bonus. McGregor heads to the line.
That's a Wook's second foul in quick succession. Oh, at this point in the game, not super worried about foul trouble.
McGregor's first free throw up, no good.
McGregor's got 3 points, 1 for 1 tonight from shooting.
And the second one is good. Salvages that free throw trip, 1 for 2.
Makes this a 6
Cougars lead by 9. Chelsea King driving into the paint, and she'll be fouled by Nimsicon. Nimsicon's 4th.
And again, we got 2:45 left. Obviously, you don't want Nimsicon in foul trouble, but it's not like this is her. She's getting her 4th with a minute into the fourth quarter.
Chelsea King will head to the free throw line.
1 for 2 from the line so far tonight. Hoping to do what she can to cut into this Cougar lead.
First shot's up and in, brings it back down to 8. And that second shot will make it a 2-point trip for Chelsea King, 51-48. Cougars lead by 7. Hannah Lopez running point for CUC, swings over to Ellis. Gets it to Southern, back to Reed. Gets it over to Lopez, back down to Southern. Ellis swings it back to Southern. Southern back to Ellis. Ellis now will move in. She'll give it to Lopez. Lopez kicks out to Reed. Under 10 on the shot clock. Clear Reed slashing left. Out to Ellis. That's tapped out of bounds off of Blyla Bartle. So 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Cougars going to have to run a catch and shoot.
Yeah, they're just going to have to get it into whoever can get open. And whoever catches it, they're just going to have to immediately put it up.
Clear Reed. Long 3. No good, almost in. Rebound, McGregor, second chance, bucket. Marian slacking on the rebound coverage. They trail by 9. Chelsea King going to drive in, put up a shot, and is fouled by McGregor.
That was a beautiful, just chuck it up by Reed. Got it off the rim. McGregor just turned and put it in. Got Sydney Nimsicon coming back in for the Cougars. Figure, hey, 2 minutes left. You got 1 foul left. Might as well put him in.
First free throw from King, up and in. King looking to make it an 8-point game, and she will. 7-point game, 60-53.
Hasn't been shooting great, but she's been able to hit her free throws in the stretch here.
And Lexley Breakbush gonna foul Kalia Reed on the near sideline in transition. That'll send Reed to the free throw line.
I think she was trying to draw an offensive foul. Unfortunately, couldn't get her feet set, and it was a foul on her instead.
Reed's first free throw, up and in. And she'll make that a 2-for-2 trip.
Nice and easy for Reed. Making this once again a 9-point Cougar lead.
Chelsea King driving in, out to Bartol for 3. Long again. Gable's able to grab the rebound. She'll move central. She'll put that up and in. Back to a 7-point game. Minute 40 left in the game. Marian's back to press defense. Swings over to Nimsicon. Nimsicon trying to move quickly, and she's going to be fouled by Gable. Gable's not happy with the call.
She thought that she was just playing some solid defense. She wasn't doing anything to foul.
So Nimsicon will now get a trip to the line. CUC thriving off of free throws right now. And she'll hit the first.
If you're Marian, time is starting to run out. She only got a minute and a half left in the game. With a 9-point deficit.
She hits both of them, so back to a 9-point game. Breakbush running point. Marian going to have to work with pace. Breakbush will drive in, put up a layup. No good. Misses the rim. Rebounded by Ellis. So Ellis gets it to Reed. Reed into Hinton Henry. And Hinton Henry and one.
And you get the feeling, Jonathan, here, minute 17 left in the game, that might be the dagger.
So Hinton Henry will now head to the line. Cougars able to effectively beat the press. And she hits it. That makes it a 12-point game. CUC healthily in the lead with this one. Gable driving in, and she's going to be fouled by Hinton Henry. Hinton Henry's upset. That'll send Gable to the line.
I think Hinton Henry thought she was all ball on that block there. Ref saw it otherwise.
And Scott back into the game for Hinton Henry. And she hits the first free throw. Gable looking to make it a 1-for-2 trip to the line. And with a minute to go, the Cougars have possession, leading by 10. Southern inbounds to Ellis. Ellis working down the far sideline. She'll lose her dribble. It's out of bounds off of the Sabres. So minute 05, Cougars leading by 10. And most of the times you'd say this is a pretty safe lead. Cougars were in a similar position back in December against U Chicago. That game ended up as a loss for the Cougars, so CUC still has to close this one out. Clear Reed gets it to Sydney Nimscont. Nimscont working central, swinging to Ellis. Now Ellis moving in, out to Reed. Reed moving right over to Southern. Under 10 on the shot clock. Southern back to Reed. Reed going to have to do something with it herself. She'll move in. Long two. No good. Rebounded by Chelsea King. Just over 30 seconds left in the game. King has to drive right in, and she'll draw the foul.
33 seconds here left. If you're Marian, you're just pushing the pace, trying to get shots up and hope that somehow you can pull off a miracle, but I don't think that's going to be the case tonight.
And at this point, free throws aren't really going to do enough to claw back a 10-point gap. First shot up and in.
As we approach the end of the game, the question becomes, is back-to-back wins considered a streak, Jonathan?
And that second shot, no good, out of bounds, off of Michaela Ellis, so Marian will take possession. I mean, assuming the Cougars win tonight, I think you got to give it to them. You look at the standard of the season, a 2-game win streak. That's 2/3 of your wins on the season in February. I think 2/3 of your wins on the season consecutively is enough for a streak.
That's what I think, too. I agree with you on that one. Corey just got to play some good defense here in the last half of the
King goes to Bartle to Breakbush. Open three. No good. That's rebounded by Ellis. Ellis not being fouled yet, and Marian looks to just ride it out.
And at this point, they shall. Concordia getting their first home win of the season since, I believe, November. And they get to do it on a nice Saturday afternoon in front of the home crowd.
And that does it. CUC wins 67-58 off the back of a 28-point fourth quarter. The Cougars come in big and fixed their struggles from the third to close it out with a 9-point win. And CUC up to 2 wins in conference now. 2-game winning streak for the Cougars as they've started to find some solutions to their shooting struggles. I mean, a lot of that goes down to that fourth quarter performance. Kalia Reed coming up big in the fourth quarter for the Cougars, and it makes it another 20-point night for Reed. 6 for 14 from the field on 37 minutes.
Yeah, just a big fourth quarter by the Cougs. Like you said, Reed had 9 in the fourth. Sydney Nimscont also came in despite foul trouble. 2 for 2 from 3. Also hit a pair of layups. She had 8. And that really allowed the Cougars to just ice this one out.
Over on Marian's end, Michaela Gable with 18 points. Breakbush with 15. Their leading rebounder for the night was Gable with 10. CUC now moves up to 2-8 in conference. They'll stay at home this upcoming Wednesday to take on Rockford University. Marian, after another tough loss today, they'll head to Alverno on Wednesday, looking to get back on the right side of the winning column in a favorable matchup for the Sabres. And that'll do it for women's basketball here in Geisman Gymnasium, but that's not going to do it in Geisman today because we have the men's basketball matchup, the Concordia Chicago taking on the Marian University Sabres at just past 4 o'clock. So make sure you stick around for that and stick around for just a couple minutes because we're going to head to a post-game interview with head coach Lauren Martin. What's up, Cougar Nation? I'm Jonathan Shear with the Cougar Sports Network, down here courtside with head coach of the women's basketball team, Lauren Martin, after a big win at home, first win at home since late November for the Cougars. And it was a game, it looked for a bit there, that third quarter, only 6 points. Cougars sliding a bit. I mean, you just mentioned before we got on, massive fourth quarter, 28 points. Is there anything that kind of shifted between that third and fourth quarter to really cause that explosion?
I think we got away from what we were doing early in the first and second quarter. So in the third, it just took us a little bit to, I guess, find that rhythm again. In the fourth and the first couple possessions, we exchanged buckets, called a timeout. We decided no more exchanging buckets. We're going to score and get stops. And for the most part, we did that. And we made clutch free throws down the stretch, hit some big shots. We were 3 of 4 from 3, so huge fourth quarter.
Absolutely. You mentioned 3 of 4 from 3. In the fourth quarter alone, over 50% shooting from the field in general. When you look at the game as a whole, over 40% in both three-point and field goal percentage. Something that's really been progressing over the last month with this team that hasn't transcribed into wins lately is better shooting. Those percentages have been going up and up gradually, and that's something that really is a massive improvement from early on in the season. How have you guys been focusing on improving that, getting those numbers up?
I think it starts with the buy-in. Every day we talk about how your hard work always pays off, and being able to share the ball, 16 assists to 11 turnovers is our best all year. And that was a lot of inside out. We've been telling them, and showing and teaching and, working on shooting every day. And, I think it just comes with that confidence of repetition, knowing that us as a coaching staff believes in our girls so much and then attributes to their hard work. And they really shined out there today. So it was gritty. We were a little bit down in the third, like we said, and to come out that way and hear guys been just rocking and have all the support of everybody here, so huge, so huge.
Absolutely. And you mentioned there was a lot of players who played well tonight for your team. What's one or a couple of players who you really want to shout out for having impressive performances out there today?
Lindley with that AM one, I think that was huge. Driving, attacking, just shooting the ball with confidence. That's a kid who's, in that utility category where she's going to do a little bit of everything every night. And those stats might not show in here, but that heart does. And you could see it when she made that one. Our bench went nuts. So that was huge. I mean, Allie played 11 minutes and in those 11 minutes had 7 rebounds, which makes her 14 rebounds away from our all-time record here. And then, of course, you got people who are kind of ice cold down the stretch with Michaela and Kalia. And just sharing everybody. I mean, Hannah hit a 3 early. Everybody contributed again, and we're all about, shouting out to whether you played or you didn't. Your role in this is equally as strong. And I just want to make sure we all know that as a team, right? Like, this is a team sport, and I'm on the girls all the time. Like, let's be loud, let's be proud. And when you bond together like that, the outcome turns out to be what it was tonight.
Absolutely, and it's a big outcome for the Cougars. 9-point win over Marian University. First time your team's won consecutive games all season, and things hopefully will continue in the right direction for this Cougar women's basketball team as we head into the back half of the season. Thanks for tuning in. Coach Martin, thanks for joining us, and a great win for your team today.
Go Cougars.
And make sure you don't go away on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a few moments for today's men's basketball game between the Sabres and the Cougars.